Good morning, children. In previous class, we had studied the definition of chemistry and applications of chemistry in different fields. In today's class, we will start the new chapter, that is matter in our surroundings. Dear children, in our day-to-day life we use many things. Also, we see many things in our surrounding. For example, pen, pencil, water, milk, iron nails, utensils, etc. Okay, usually all these things, okay, they are known as matter. Okay, they are known as matter, or they are made up of matter. Okay. But early Indian philosophers, early Indian philosophers have classified the matter into 5 basic elements. 5 basic elements known as Panchatattva. Okay, that is earth, sky, water, air and fire. Okay, according to early Indian philosophers, living or non-living thing, living or non-living thing, they are made up of these 5 basic elements. They are made up of these 5 basic elements. But modern scientists have classified the matter on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. Okay, before going to classify the matter, we have to study what is matter and what is the nature of matter. Okay, first we will study what is matter. What is matter? Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Okay, examples for matters we can give: pen, pencil, oxygen gas, hydrogen gas, water, alcohol, etc. Okay, see here. Now see this pen. Now I am placing this pen on this paper. Okay, this pen is occupying some space on this paper. Okay, and this pen also has mass. Okay, see I am lifting this pen from this position and I will place this pen here. Okay, while lifting I need to spend some energy. Okay, to lift the pen from here to here or here to here, I need to spend some energy, or I need to apply some force. Therefore, this pen is taken as a matter because it has mass and it occupies the space. Okay, next we will study the physical nature of matter. Physical nature of matter. First physical nature of matter is matter is made up of particles. Okay, to support this statement we have to perform an activity. Okay, I have taken a small beaker. And I will place 100 ml of water. 100 ml of water, and now I will mark the level of water inside the beaker. Okay, this is the level of water inside the beaker. Okay, now I will add some sugar crystals. Now I will add some sugar crystals. I will add some sugar crystals into this 100 ml of water and I will stir it. After some time, these sugar crystals are they are not visible or they will disappear. Okay. Next, after dissolving this sugar crystals, again I will check the level of the water inside this beaker. Okay. When I check the level of the water inside this beaker, level remains as it is. There is no rise or fall in the level of the water inside this beaker. Okay. This indicates that here this sugar crystals, okay, their size is large. Okay. When they are added into water, they breaks into small particles. And these small particles will distribute between the water molecules. Okay, because here these small sugar particles, okay, these small sugar particles are distributed among the water, they are distributed between the water molecules. Okay, therefore here there is no rise or fall in the level of the water inside the beaker. Okay, from this activity we can conclude that matter is made up of particles, and also we can conclude that matter has some intermolecular space, that is between the molecules inside the matter there will be some space. Okay, here see, here in this beaker we have taken the water. To this water we are adding the sugar crystals. Sugar crystals are dissolved. Okay, these sugar crystals, okay, dissolved sugar crystals, they will occupy the spaces between the water molecules. Okay, so from this activity we can conclude that water is made up of particles. Okay, next physical nature of the matter is, next physical nature of the matter is, matter is made up of tiny particles. Matter is made up of tiny particles. Okay, to support this statement, again we have to perform the one more activity. Okay, again I will take one more beaker. Again I will take one more beaker. One more beaker, and I will place 100 ml of water inside this beaker. Usually we know that water is colorless. Water is colorless. Now I will add some potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate crystals. Now I will add some potassium permanganate crystals into this water. Okay, chemical formula of the potassium permanganate is KMnO4. Okay, this is the chemical formula of potassium permanganate. To this 100 ml of water, I am adding the potassium permanganate crystals. Okay, when these crystals they are dissolved in this water, will get pink colored potassium permanganate solution. Now I will take one test tube or 10 ml of potassium permanganate solution from this beaker. Okay, from this beaker I am taking 10 ml of potassium permanganate solution, and I will pour this solution into another beaker containing 90 ml of water. Okay, again from this beaker I will take 10 ml of potassium permanganate solution. Okay, again I will pour this 10 ml of potassium permanganate solution taken from this burette into another beaker containing 90 ml of water. Okay, I will repeat the same. Okay, this again next I will take 10 ml of KMnO4 solution, and again I will pour into a beaker containing 90 ml of water. Okay, this process is continued for 5 to 8 times. Okay, we'll get pale yellow colored solution. Okay, here we are diluting this pink colored potassium permanganate solution. Okay, from this activity we observe that here intensity of the pink color is more. Okay, when I take a 10 ml of KMnO4 solution from this beaker and I will pour this 10 ml of KMnO4 solution into another beaker containing the 90 ml of water. Okay, 10 ml of KMnO4 pink colored KMnO4 solution is poured into this 90 ml of water. Okay, intensity of the pink color pink color decreases. Okay, intensity of the pink color decreases. Okay, next again I will take 10 ml of KMnO4 solution from this beaker, and again I will pour this 10 ml of KMnO4 solution into this beaker containing the 90 ml of water. Like this we are adding more volume of water to the small volume of KMnO4. Okay, here we are diluting the KMnO4 solution. Okay, on diluting the KMnO4 solution, intensity of the pink color of the solution, KMnO4 solution decreases. Okay, from this activity, we can conclude that 2 to 3 crystals of potassium permanganate can color the 1000 liters of water. Okay, 1000 liters of water. So one crystal of KMnO4 is made up of millions of KMnO4 particles. Okay, here from this activity we can conclude the size of the particles. Okay, usually the size of the particle is of the order 1 nanometer. Okay, 1 nanometer is equals to 10 raised to minus 9 centimeters. Okay, size of the single particle is 10 raised to minus 9 centimeters or 1 nanometers. Okay, 1 nanometer is equals to 10 raised to minus 9 centimeters. Okay, this is very small. Okay, size of the particle is very small, and we can't see the particles by our naked eyes. Okay, from this activity we can conclude that matter is made up of very small particles, or matter is made up of a tiny particles. Okay, next we will study characteristics of. As a result, these pollen grains will start moving in zigzag fashion. Okay, like this, these pollen grains will move. Okay, so from this activity we can conclude that particles of the matter are constantly moving. Okay, usually in this beaker we have taken water. To this water we have added pollen grains. Okay, due to the motion of the water molecules. Okay, due to the motion of the water molecules, pollen grains are also moving, because water molecules are moving constantly in all directions, and they have kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy is transferred to the pollen grains. As a result, when pollen grains gains the kinetic energy, okay, they will start moving. Okay, they will start moving in zigzag manner. Okay, this zigzag movement of a particles is known as Brownian movement or motion is known as Brownian motion. Okay, from this activity we can conclude that okay, the particles of the matter are constantly moving. Okay, and so we can perform one more activity to support this statement. Okay, one more activity. Okay, consider this is one room and this is another room. Okay, this is room 1 and this is room 2. Okay, in this room I am placing unlit incense stick. Incense stick. Incense stick. And in second room I am placing lit incense stick. Incense stick. Okay, now I will enter this room. Okay, I will enter room 1 in which unlit incense stick is placed. Okay, and incense stick is nothing but it is a agarbatti. Okay, when I enter this room I will not experience the smell of this incense stick unless I move this incense stick near to my nose. Okay, when I keep this incense stick near my nose, then only I'll experience the smell of this incense stick. Okay, but when I enter this second room, okay, when I enter this second room, here incense stick in second room we have kept lit incense stick. As a result, smoke of the incense stick is spreaded throughout the room. As soon as I enter the door of this second room, I experience the smell of smoke of incense stick. Okay, here because this full second room is completely filled with the smoke of the incense stick. Okay, here this smoke of the incense stick is diffused throughout the room. Okay, therefore as soon as I enter this second room I experience the smell of this incense stick. Okay, then what is diffusion? Diffusion is the process of intermixing of particles of different substance. Okay, here particles of the incense stick smoke are mixing with the air present inside the present inside the room. Okay, here we observe that in second room, as soon as we enter the door of this second room, we experience the smell of the incense stick. Okay, here from this activity we can conclude that these particles of the matter are constantly moving. Okay, they are not staying in one place. Okay, they are constantly moving. Okay, second characteristic of matter is, sorry, not matter, second characteristic of the particle is, particles of the matter have spaces between them. Okay, to support this statement, that is particles of the matter have spaces between them, again we have to perform the one more activity, that is dissolution of sugar in water. Okay, already we did this experiment. Okay, see here, this is beaker, this is filled with water. Okay, this is beaker, this is filled with the water. See here water molecules are present. Between the water molecules there is a space is present. Okay, when we dissolve sugar in this water, the sugar particles, okay, large sized sugar crystals, they breaks into small particles, and these sugar particles will occupy the spaces between the water molecules. Okay, therefore in this experiment we observe that here, so when after dissolving the sugar in water, there is no rise in the level of the water inside the beaker. Okay, this will helps to understand that here matter have some space between them. Okay, since here space is present between the water molecules, and that space is occupied by these sugar particles. Okay, next one more next last characteristic of the particle is, particles of matter attract each other. Particles of matter attract each other. Okay, there are two types of attractive forces. First one is cohesive force, and second one is adhesive force. Okay, first one is cohesive force and second one is adhesive force. Okay, actually cohesive force is the attractive force. Cohesive force is the attractive force between the particles of the same substance, whereas this adhesive force is the attractive force between the particles of the different substances. Okay, see here, we'll see the examples for cohesive force and adhesive force. Okay, take iron rod. Okay, this is iron rod. This iron rod is made up of iron atoms. Okay, this iron rod is made up of iron atoms. Here the particles inside this iron rod are iron atoms. Okay, here the attractive force between these particles. Okay, here the attractive force is between the particles of the same substance, that is iron particles. Okay, so it is difficult to break the this iron rod, because this cohesive force is stronger force. Okay, next we will see example for the adhesive force. Okay, we can take chalk. Okay, chalk is nothing but it is calcium carbonate. Okay, this chalk is made up of calcium carbonate compound. Okay, this is the chalk. Okay, this chalk is calcium carbonate, and this compound is made up of different atoms. Here calcium, carbon and oxygen. Okay, here the attractive force is between the particles of the different substance. Okay, this is one substance and this is another substance. Okay, between the substance there is a attractive force. Therefore this kind of force is known as adhesive force. Okay, if the attractive force between the particles of the different substance, okay, then such kind of force is known as adhesive force. Okay, this chalk piece can be we can break the chalk piece easily. We can break the chalk easily, because here this adhesive force is weaker force. Okay, so these are the three characteristics of the particles of the matter. Okay, in this one, this last one. Okay, again I will repeat one time. I will repeat this last property. Okay, there are two types of attractive forces. Okay, one is cohesive force and another one is adhesive force. Cohesive force is the attractive force between the particles of the same substance or particles of the atoms of the same substance. Okay, whereas this adhesive force is it is the force between the particles of the different substances. We can take example for adhesive force, that is iron rod. Okay, this iron rod is made up of iron atoms, whereas and the attraction is between the same kind of atoms. Okay, therefore this is cohesive force, and it is stronger force, and it is difficult to break the iron rod, whereas this adhesive force. Okay, for this we can take example, that is chalk. Okay, this chalk is made up of calcium carbonate. Okay, here force, attractive force is between the particles of the different substances, and this type of force is weaker force, therefore we can break the chalk easily. Okay, these are the 4 characteristics of the particles of the matter. In next class we will study the classification of the matter and properties of the matter. Okay, that is after classifying we will study the properties. Okay.